Good morning, everybody. It's sorry for the slight delay in starting this secondary meeting. Obviously, we've had lots of us have had connection issues this morning, so thank you for bearing with us all. Just like to welcome you all to this Taxi and General Subcommittee, which is being held on Thursday, the 15th of July, 2021. This meeting is held remotely via Microsoft Teams and due to the COVID in relation to the COVID-19. My name is Councillor Julian Simmons. I will be chairing this meeting this morning of this Licensing Committee. This meeting is being recorded and will be made available via the Council's website, except for discussions involving confidential or exempt issues. Therefore, the images or audio of those of individuals being present or speaking will be publicly available to all via the recording on the Council's website at www.caerphilly.gov.uk. I will now carry out a roll call for those in attendance. Please can you announce yourself as present when I call your name out? Members first, please. Councillor Mike Davis.
Present, Chair.
Thank you, Mike. Councillor John Roberts.
Chair, present.
Thank you, John. And can I just check with the following officers are present, please? Lee Morgan, our licensing manager.
Yeah, present, Chair. Good morning.
Morning, Lee. Thank you very much indeed. Sandra Lewis-Williams, our senior licensing officer.
Present, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Yes, good morning to you. Paul Smith, please, our licensing officer.
Yes, present, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Good to see you. Mike Waldbank, our senior solicitor.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning to you. And Rebecca Barrett, our committee services officer.
Present, Chair.
Thank you, Rebecca. That's great. Please, can I just also check that the applicant is present? Mrs. Rachel Worry. Are you with us, Mrs. Worry? I think you're on mute because.
Present.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Worry. Thank you for bearing with us. As I say, we've had a few technical issues this morning, but it's good to see you and thank you for your patience.
That's okay, thank you.
Thank you. Can I also welcome supporting officers from the Licensing Committee and Committee Services who are present in the background. Thank you all for confirming your attendance. Please may I remind attendees if they do lose connection during the meeting to make every attempt to reconnect. However, the meeting will continue as long as the meeting is quorate. Committee services are on hand and will be able to assist you to reconnect if necessary. Can I just please ask that if everyone could keep their microphones on mute until they are ready to call and invited to speak. I should also like to remind everyone that the chair does have the discretion to remove people or persons from the meeting. If that is necessary, if you wish to speak, please use the hands up facility on the function on the Microsoft. Are there any apologies for absence?
Chair, we've had apologies from one resident who has made representations but is unable to attend.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. And then we move on swiftly to item number 2, which is the declarations of interest. Councillors and officers are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any or personal prejudicial interests in respect to the item of business on this agenda. In accordance to the local government. I think we got some feedback somewhere. No? Okay, sorry. I'll start that again. Councillors and officers are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal or prejudicial interests in respect to the item of business on this agenda. In accordance to the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Code of Conduct for both councillors and officers. Please use the hands up facility to indicate if you have any declarations. Are there any declarations at all, please? I can't see any hands up on my screen, so that's great. Thank you. And we shall move on then to item 3, which is the Local Government Miscellations Provisions Act of 1982, the application for street trading consent. Mr. Wallbank from Legal, can I now hand over to you, please? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Mrs. Warry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
That's brilliant. Just before we get into discussing the matter in hand, just mainly for your benefit, I'm going to run through the procedure that we're going to follow this morning.
Okay.
Okay, so firstly, the licensing officer is going to present her report, and then the panel and you will have the opportunity to ask any questions of her that you want to ask.
Yes.
After that, then you will have the opportunity to say what you want to say to the panel about your application, and likewise the licensing team and the panel will have the opportunity to ask you questions. We haven't got any local residents here today, so there won't be any verbal input from them. So once you've spoken and the licensing team have spoken, there'll be the opportunity for both of you to sum up. That's basically a brief statement to sort of put forward any take-home points that you want the panel to consider whilst they're deliberating. And then after that, the recording will stop. The three panel members will go into a separate meeting to discuss their decision, and then they will come back into this meeting, and what they've decided will be read out. Just to say, obviously, we are conducting this meeting virtually over Microsoft Teams. It's not unknown for there to be connection problems or people dropping out. If you drop out of the meeting for any reason, we will pause it until you're back in. If you do drop out, please do what you can to reconnect. But I'm going to give you a phone number now in case you do drop out and you're unable to get back in and you need some technical support. Have you got a pen there?
2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds. Just getting one now.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can take this down, then it's 01443
Yeah.
864
Yeah.
245.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the procedure, that's the connection issues. I'm asked to remind you that the determination of this issue rests with this panel basically, and there are no further rights of appeal, and the committee's decision is final. Have you got any questions on that, Mrs. Warry?
Sorry, I didn't catch the end of that then. I muted me and it went quiet.
Yeah, okay. I was just saying that the panel will make the final determination today, and there's no formal right of appeal against what the panel decides. It's more a point for the end, to be honest. But the main thing is, do you understand the procedure that we're going to be following today that I've just explained?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to clarify with me at this stage?
No, I want to move pictures.
Yeah, okay, that's fine then. I'll hand back to the chair and we can crack on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallbank. Over to Mrs. Sandra Williams, please, from the licensing, please. Thank you, Sandra.
Good morning. Mrs. Warry, trading as Supreme Snack, submitted an application for the grant of a new street trading consent on the 14th of June for a catering trailer to be located in the rear car park of the Station Inn Public House on Nantgarrow Road in Caerphilly, to trade between the hours of 8 AM to 10 PM, selling hot and cold food and drink. From the plan provided with the application, the intended location is in the top right-hand corner of the car park next to the beer garden area of the pub. And those have been included as Appendix 3 and 5 of the application pack you have in front of you. Mrs. Warry has gained consent to trade from the location from the landowner, subject to the appropriate local authority permissions being in place, and has produced a copy of the written consent as part of the application. All street trading consent applications are subject to a 14-day consultation period, and the application is circulated to the relevant departments for comment, as outlined within the report. The applicant also has to advertise the application on the site by means of a notice. The notice was checked on site on the 18th of June. During the application period, no representations were received from the appropriate bodies against the application. However, we did receive 2 representations from local residents. Copies of those representations have been included in the agenda pack as Appendix 1 and 2. The residents have been unable to be present this morning, but their written comments and concerns will be taken into account in the decision this morning. But in summary, from the written representations, the residents appear to be concerned about the loss of car parking for their cars, possible noise and smells, and the fear of rubbish that the catering trailer may generate. As stated previously, the waste team had no concerns regarding the application, and it is mandatory that all street traders have a commercial waste agreement in place to deal with any rubbish generated by their business. Mrs. Worry has produced a copy of the commercial waste agreement she has set up with this authority. Environmental Health Pollution Control Team would comment on the application from a noise and smell perspective and had no adverse comments. It must be noted that the Station Inn pub itself can currently trade beyond the hours requested in this application. The application site is within the car park of the licensed premises, and the permission has been given by the landowner for the catering trailer to locate there. The previous owner of the pub, it appears, may have given the residents permission to park their cars within the car park, but the premises has recently changed ownership, and the residents have indicated that this may no longer be permitted. Members are asked to determine the application with reference to the street trading policy, the relevant sections of which have been detailed within the report. Members are asked to note that there are no further rights of appeal and the committee's decision is final. I hand back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Lewis-Williams. Are there any questions of licensing? If so, please would you raise your hand on the Teams bar, please? Are there any questions? Lee Morgan. Lee?
Just Sandra has detailed in her representations, just that there were 2 residents that commented as part of the process. We did have apologies off both. One indicated that due to work commitments they were unable to attend, the other due to a medical appointment. So neither party is in attendance today, Chair, but it's just I wanted to make sure that at least I can advise you that they have offered their apologies for not being here today. So just like to sort of comment on that. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Lee. That's lovely. Thank you very much indeed. I can't see any other hands up. So we now move on to the representations from the applicant. Mrs. Worry, could I just ask you to...
Sorry, Chair.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got my hand up, but I got it up a bit late. I was
okay. That's okay.
Work teams.
Go on, Mike. Sorry.
I didn't want to steal any of the any thunder from anyone, but I wonder if Sandra, could you just tell us a little bit about the location and the sort of the surrounding area where this is, and in particular comment on the proximity of the proposed site to any residential premises?
Well, it's located on Nantgarrow Road, which obviously is a residential street. There are houses opposite and next to the pub, but to the rear of it are industrial units. They're large industrial units, which I believe the residents may have actually commented on in their representations regarding the smells from that generated from those businesses. And to the other side of the public house, there is the car park for the train station.
So is it adjacent to any residential premises?
I think that on the plan that has been provided within the pack, I think you can see that there are houses located next to, if you were looking at the pub, on the left-hand side of the pub, there would be houses. On the right-hand side, there is nothing. On opposite side of the street, again, there are houses.
Thank you.
Chair, can I ask a question? I can't find the hand thingy.
That's
Thank you.
okay. Go ahead.
We've heard that environmental health didn't have any comments, but do we know, because of what we've read on file, do we know if environmental health have had previous concerns about the biomass that's behind, about the smell and things? Have we had any issues been raised up there to say that they've had concerns on that one initially?
I had no idea if there's been any comment regarding that to environmental health. Lee, I'm not sure if you've checked on that at all.
I think what I can say, Councillor, is obviously if there are issues arising from obviously the matter you're, I suppose, considering in effect this morning is the street trading consent in relation to Ms. Worry and her application for the catering trailer. If there has been an issue in relation to the Biomet site to the rear, then that would have been a separate matter, obviously, and considered by our environmental health colleagues from the pollution team. I believe there may have been a report about either noise or possible smell, and I can't be specific, from one resident about a industrial premises previously, but that is my understanding of where we are today, if that helps.
That's okay, Lee. Thanks, Lee. I get that, and I understand it's a separate issue. But I understand it's a separate issue. But this one is an application in the same area, and I was just assuming maybe that an officer, if there's a problem, they might have pricked up their ears. But thank you.
The environmental health officer, as the pollution team, are in effect sort of consultees as part of the consent process, as Sandra has mentioned earlier, and they had no comments to make. I think primarily on the basis that they have the ability to control any aspects of noise or litter or pollution through statutory nuisance themselves under their own powers. And obviously the street trading consent provision itself contained within that, there are certain conditions and requirements that the consent holder would have, which would require things like the clearing up and the sort of control of waste, which is controlled by the consent provisions. So the environmental health officer would have seen it, but hasn't made any adverse comment to this application. So that's the position as we stand currently.
That's great. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate that. I can't see any other hands up. So is there any more comments anybody wants to raise? Councillor Mike Davis, please.
Yeah, I was looking at the pictures, and on page 9, it doesn't, unless I'm looking at it wrong, and somebody could give me some help, it doesn't seem to show where the actual siting of the unit will be, and I was interested really how close it is to the housing, the neighbouring properties. There are other pictures, but it doesn't relate to.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Yes, Councillor Davis. If you look at the picture on page 13.
Yes.
Okay. That if you were looking at the premises from the front of the car park, that is actually the back right-hand corner of the car park, and where you'll see the wood fencing behind that is actually the beer garden of the public house. And if you were to go back then to the plan on page 9, you will see a white car in the top corner.
Of the station-in car park,
Of the station-in car park, you'll see that is like a black outline around the pub, and then you'll see the car park next to it.
Yes.
Up in the top corner, by the white car, maybe a little bit further up, because Mrs. Worry has indicated that some overgrown waste ground is going to be cleared. That is the proposed location
Okay,
in that top corner.
okay.
Chair, apologies. For some reason, I lost all connection about 3-4 minutes ago, halfway through
Okay.
Lee speaking. I've just managed to come back on. Sorry for that, but I'm back on now. Diolch.
That's okay. Thank you, Councillor Roberts.
Yeah, I thank you for that, Sandra. That helps a great deal because it gives me some sort of perspective as to where things actually are. So thanks for that.
Okay. That's lovely. Thank you, everybody. I can't see any other hands up, so we move swiftly on to the representations from the applicant. Mrs. Worry, could I just ask you to address the subcommittee, please, with your application? Thank you very much indeed. Mrs. Worry, please.
Hello, can you all hear me?
You can hear Mrs. Worry? Yes, that's fine. Do go ahead, please.
Hi, thank you. So, as stated, the burger van will be at the back of the car park, as far away as possible from any property. As for my rubbish, I do have an agreement. I also have my waste oil agreement with a recycling firm. I also go on litter pick as well myself, because if people don't put their rubbish in their bin, I'll be picking up. I've only got a small generator, so it's not very loud. So apart from that, there's no other issues which I feel that I need to. As for the biomass, that's out of my concern. I understand that the residents are frustrated. I'd be the same if I lived in the area. But I believe that that's a separate topic to my business. And yeah, that's all I need to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Worry.
Thank you.
Are there any questions to Mrs. Worry from the committee at all, please? I do have one, but I was going to say, if there's anybody who wants to go first, by all means, go for it. Mike, did you have it? Yes, you got your hand up. Yes, Mr. Walbank, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Again, I'm conscious that you've got a question, Chair, and I don't want to steal your thunder. But Mrs. Worry,
okay.
you've seen what's been said in the objection comments about the potential for smells to emanate from your trailer. What do you say about that?
Obviously, you're going to have some sort of smell because I am cooking food, but I'm constantly cleaning my grill. It's going to be fresh food cooked all the time. And I'm sure that the smell from a burger is a lot better than the smell from burning wood, personally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one question, Mrs. Worry, if I can ask you. I was going to say, what litter provisions have you made within that little area for yourself? I was just thinking, because so often some of these sites leave a lot of debris and a lot of mess, and that obviously upsets a lot of people. So it's just really a question to you, what sort of provisions have you made really to get litter disposed of, please?
I've got an agreement with the council. So I pay for the council to dispose of my rubbish. I've got my own bin.
And how often do the council, or how often are the council going to remove for you?
So it'll be weekly for my food waste and recycling, and fortnightly for my general waste.
Okay, and just a further question then, this is not sort of left hanging around in the car park if it's a weekly collection, is it, or?
I'll hide them and put them away behind the side of my burger van.
That's fine, that's lovely. Okay,
I'll wheel them out on collection days. That's not a problem at all.
That's fine, as long as the bags are not just all hanging around, that's all I was trying to
no,
establish.
I won't leave, no, I'll never leave bags out, no way.
No, that's lovely, that's great, just wanted to clear that up in my own mind anyway.
No, never, I don't want rats near my food.
No, I guess that, I guess that, but that I've got to ask it anyway, but no, that's fine.
Not a problem, thank you.
No, that's lovely, no, I appreciate that, that's kind of you, thank you ever so much indeed. Are there any other questions, ladies and gents? No, okay, that's right. Well, thank you then, Mrs. Worry. If there are no further, sorry, go on.
Can I just ask a follow-up on what you asked? And I think you've made the answer to this clear, Mrs. Worry. But the waste material, whilst it's being stored awaiting collection, that's going to be in some sort of hard, secure container, I presume.
Well, I can put padlocks on my bins. There's no problem at all.
But it is on like a wheel. It is in like a wheelie bin, is it?
Yeah, it's the council wheelie bins I got.
Yeah. Fine. That's all I wanted to ask.
Thank
That's
you.
great. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Okay, if there are no further questions, I would like now to ask all the parties to sum up before we retire to make our decision. And this will be in the following order. So, Mrs. Sandra Williams, please. Lewis Williams, please, to sum up for licensing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Worry has submitted all the required documentation as part of their application process, and the appropriate bodies have had the opportunity to comment on her application, and we have had no adverse comments during the representation period. While we note that we have had concerns from 2 local residents regarding the location of this catering trailer, they would have appropriate protection by virtue of the Environmental Protection Act 1990 if they were to have any substantiated grounds to complain in the future if the licence was granted this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis Williams. Can I just ask the applicant, Mrs. Worry, if you've got anything you'd like to say in summing up, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Basically, I would like to have a relationship with all the residents. I'm a friendly person. Where I'm based now, I get on with all the residents. I look after the area. I've made so many friends with them now, and I hope to have that relationship with the residents. I do take their concerns into consideration, and I promise that it'll be a positive thing with my van going there, not a negative. I think it's good for the pub as well, through the COVID and everything. It's good for the community to get everything back up and going. I've also spoke to a few customers of the pub, and their opinion to me was it's a very good idea. There's nowhere near that can do breakfasts. It'd be nice to have something different. It'd be nice to have food in the pub when they go for a drink. Yeah, but that's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Mrs. Worry.
Thank you.
And thank you for everyone for attending today and their representation. Mr. Walbach, can I just hand back to you, please?
Yes, of course, Chair. So, Mrs. Worry, what's going to happen now is that the panel are going to retire to consider their decision. So they will go into a separate meeting in Teams to consider that. Present in that meeting will be the subcommittee, so the 3 panel members. I will be there, and the Democratic Services Officer will be there as well. To advise, but the decision will be that of the 3 panel members alone. I can see you're on the telephone. What we can do, rather than have you hanging on in this meeting, is if you want to hang up now, then somebody will give you a call back and let you know when the panel is ready to reconvene. I would estimate that that's going to be in about 15 minutes time.
Yep, no problem at all.
To everybody else, if you want to hang on in this meeting and just turn your microphones and cameras off, we'll let you know when the panel's ready to come back in. And then obviously once the meeting's been reconvened, we'll read out the decision of the subcommittee, and that will conclude matters. Just to say, if you do have any trouble reconnecting to the meeting when you're invited to do so, Mrs. Worry, if you use that number that I've given you earlier, somebody will help you to get back in. Are there any questions on that?
No, thank you all very much for your time. I do appreciate it, and hopefully I'll have a good result and speak to you all shortly.
Thank you,
Brilliant.
Mrs. Worry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Walbank. Thank you, Mrs. Worry. We will all now retire. Thank you, and for your patience, and while the members make their decision. Okay. So, okay, and if we could just ask Becky, please, just to turn off the recording, that would be great. Thank you.